providing more customer service offices than any other Louisiana utility company, staffed with customer representatives who work and live in Louisiana, and offering 24/7 emergency response. That's what keeps CLECO energized.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It is 78 out in Leesville as we watch a landfalling hurricane now pushing up through Texas. My daughter is actually in Houston on Deer Park, and she's been sending videos and stuff all night long, and they've lost some big tree limbs out there in her area, but actually still had the lights on pretty incredibly. Looking out from our closest vantage points here, here's the Leesville camera. I was watching clouds kind of whip by earlier. You can see that enhanced flow as we look out to the west. Nothing going on just yet, and then looking at the Toledo Bend camera, we're going to see pretty much the same thing. Did I hit play on the show? Yeah. So here's what it looks like out there. Really, the lake doesn't look terrible right now. Just kind of misty and hazy out there, 77 degrees. Winds have been very much in check as that center of circulation made landfall near Matagorda, Texas, on the east end of the Matagorda Bay. There it is right now, moving at a 10-degree compass heading, which tilts it just to the east of north. And that means what we're going to see today is clouds. We're going to see some breaks in those clouds. And when the breaks happen, that's when I think we see thunderstorms fire up pretty quickly. Here's a closer view in there. We've actually had a tornado warning for Hardin County, Texas. They're just west of Lumberton, so not in our area, but close enough to where I'm sure we have a couple of viewers out that way. And that eye continues to push toward just to the east of north there as this moves up over Houston right now. And flood warnings all around Houston. We've seen multiple wind gusts over 90 miles an hour near landfall. Landfall intensity was actually 80 miles per hour, but that's for the sustained winds. The gusts could approach 100. And I think we'll see more of that as we get more reports. Actually had a friend send a message from a ship that was right near the center of this, said they measured 94 miles per hour. So yeah, you're going to see some pretty extensive wind damage near that landfall point, and I think we'll see some big-time power outages out there. 1.5 million already without power across southeast Texas. So here's your planner for today. Thunderstorms really start to ramp up in the early afternoon, and that's when we transition into that severe threat. Here's a look at Beryl, and why am I still showing you the satellite? Well, first off, you can see the intensification as this came in really blew up, and the circulation even starts to expand somewhat. So that larger, broader circulation as this kind of winds down is very common, and what that means for us is we're going to see increased wind shear on the eastern side of this, and that's why we have that tornado threat for today. So that's our main issue here. I think we will see some gusty winds, especially toward the Texas border, but the isolated tornado threat is going to be the main problem here for central Louisiana. So here's your path on the tropical system. Pretty much a foregone conclusion now, but there's your current 75 mile per hour winds, gusts to 100, and that is going to maintain tropical storm status probably until around midnight tonight as it hooks again toward the northeast. That brings that center to its closest pass to this area probably late to this evening into early tomorrow morning, and that's when we have our best chance for severe weather from this afternoon into early tomorrow morning. And then things really clear out. It looks like we're going to see some much drier conditions come on in. Now, we do have actually some tropical storm winds forecast to potentially graze the western part of the area. I really think this is most likely going to stay west of the border, but low chances there, around 10 to 20% that you'd see that right along Toledo Bend. And should we see that, we will have the camera on it. We'll have that weather sensor. Remember, they're on the app. They're on the SenLaw Weather website. They are there for you to click on and watch live. There's actual weather data that comes across with that as well. So most importantly for us, Futurecast for today, showing just some light showers out west through 9 a.m., which is right about now. And then you can see storms as soon as noon trying to fire up here from Vernon Parish up into Sabine. So anything that develops, it has more wind shear than we saw yesterday. We're seeing tornado warnings in Texas. We saw one yesterday here with the lower wind shear. I think we see a tornado watch for parts of the area and tornado warnings eventually, because look what happens as this kind of, again, winds down, spins down, and expands out. you get this pretty persistent scattered squall line that's going to be moving from the southwest to the northeast. This is 6 o'clock right here. Let's see what happens as we go a few more hours ahead. And you can just see those kind of mini supercell structures is what we're going to call those. And those are going to have a lot of rotation. They're going to have a lot of wind shear to work with, loads of moisture, low cloud bases. These are going to be very tough to warn. So if we find ourselves in a tornado watch later and we have storms approaching your area, perhaps you're not even hearing a lot of thunder with these, they still could be rather dangerous. And that continues into about midnight. And then I think things are going to start to shove a little bit further to the east. And that's when we'll see some, pardon me, that's when we'll see some improving conditions. And I think after today into early tomorrow morning, I think we clear things out and we actually get a few nice days here. So for today, we jump up to around 90. This says 92. I don't think we quite make it there because I don't think we're going to see a ton of sunshine. In fact, if we get to 92, that's kind of worse for what we're looking at here because, like I said, we have that severe threat. And that's going to be tied to when we get the instability to really crank up. We're going to have the convergence. We're going to have the lift. If we get the sun to come out for a little bit, that's when we see some even more significant problems potentially. And here is your severe outlook. They added that enhanced risk. That is up here in northwest Louisiana, Shreveport down to Sabine Parish and northwestern Vernon. Slight risk for the western half. This is mainly a tornado-driven risk here, and then a marginal for the rest of the area. So if you are going to be traveling around the state today, if you have to head down to Houston for some reason, first off, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be windy, and I think we're going to see that threat for tornadoes developing. Now, rain remains in check. The flood watches and stuff like that, flood warnings, all out into Texas here. 1 to 2 inches of rain is likely, so pretty much kind of what we need here out of that, but we're not going to see those rain chances continuing on into the future that long. Look at this. We go from 80 down to 40. Really cut that rain chance for tomorrow. May have to cut it further. I think Wednesday and Thursday are mostly dry, and then we get back to kind of your normal summertime pattern as we get into the weekend. And then here it is. It's summer again. After Beryl's gone, we get back to boring old summer. It's going to be in the mid to upper 90s. We're going to have scattered storms each day, and that's going to be about it. Let's go ahead and take a look. If you just tuned in here, we'll go over to radar, show you what's going on with Beryl, and what I'm going to do is pull up the Lake Charles radar because that's going to be close enough to see most of this. You see how it gets kind of fuzzy on the western end. We're not seeing the whole thing, but look at these storms just continuing to pinwheel up. These are going to make it into western Beauregard, Vernon, and Sabine Parish most likely in the next couple hours. It's going to start to kind of go downhill there. And then this is what we're really watching here for those storms, but then you saw this earlier try to get kind of cranked up here, this one individual cell that merged back into the main rain band there. And I think we're going to see more as the sun comes out today from about 3 until 9 p.m. That's going to be our best chance to see real robust thunderstorm development, and the potential is going to be there for some isolated, fast-moving, and tough-to-warn tornadoes. So you might not get the warning you'd typically be used to with a supercell coming in. Say we've got one, we get warnings that go out an hour in advance, and we're talking about these as they approach the area from Leesville, and we're in Alexandria. It's not going to be like that today. These are going to be moving very quickly. They're going to be tough to warn, and we're just going to have to watch things very closely as those thunderstorms start to fire closer to our area. And if you missed it, I will go through that Futurecast just to show you that one more time. And then we'll get on out of here with no warnings. I know I'm going to be live later today for quite a bit. But yeah, just a couple of storms trying to form late this morning. I think we get that first band probably around noon, maybe a little sooner than that. And then you can see that batch comes out of Texas and just starts to slowly kind of pivot this way. And through the afternoon and evening, those thunderstorms are going to be severe with the potential for at least a couple of tornadoes in the area. So not the best news. I know it's not what everybody wants to hear, but we are here to speak the truth. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Traveling, not a great thing today because of these storms. They're going to really make conditions change. I don't think we're going to see widespread, like, tropical storm force winds locally. The isolated nature of these storms and the quick change of things, that's what's going to cause us the problems. There's a wind advisory also up in northwest Louisiana. Closer past to that center means they could see some wind gusts over 40. I think mostly here in Rapides, we're 25, 30. Vernon, Sabine, that's where we get into those 30, 40, maybe 45 mile per hour gusts. Alrighty, I'm going to get out of here. grab a little breakfast or something and get ready for the pretty long day here. But I'll see you back here later on. I'll be posting text updates and live updates through the day until the threat clears late tonight.